thankfully we're here to talk about you teaching Taekwondo and not teaching people how to use electronics and
You wouldn't
apps
want
and stuff.
that. You wouldn't want that. No, absolutely not.
But you're
Absolutely not.
in, you're in. It's all good. And we are recording. Are we recording? We are. Right. So we are going to do a special episode today. Because Andy, and you said this to me yesterday or the day before, like, well, will people be interested? I think because you've been on the episode, on the show so much that you've got people are aware of you within a wee martial focused community. And I think we'll start talking about what we're going to talk about, but maybe we'll talk about some other things as well. And I definitely think people will be interested. So the big news is that Andy and his daughter Rosie are opening a new Taekwondo school
Yeah,
on
we are.
Monday. So this is Saturday the 21st, and you open on Monday the 23rd.
That's it. Monday 23rd. I should know the time of by heart by this time. 6:30, I think it is. 6:30 till 7:30.
Yep.
On Monday in Cambuslang, which for anyone who's not in South Lancashire, Cambuslangs a wee town just outside Glasgow, same as Hamilton, really. Kind of not too far away from Hamilton Larkhall, where your school's at, and not too far away from Loch End in Glasgow itself, but far enough away that we're not kind of encroaching on anyone's cutting anyone's grass.
Indeed. I think the main question, do you know, this is where I'll start today because I know the answer to this, but I'm not convinced purely from just being generally interested standpoint that we've actually really got to the why of it. So obviously it seems a really natural progression, but I think the question we'll start with today is, after all of these years and even all these years being a black belt, why now get so inspired to open a school?
Do you know, well, we've spoken about this over the years a number of times about me opening up a school, haven't we? Really, and I've always kind of resisted. I've always been quite resistant. I'm busy, as you know. My work takes up like mad amounts of my time. I don't really have much spare time, and I've now taken on a new kind of role within my work as well. So I'm even busier than I was before, and so it doesn't really seem as if there's much logic in it all. But what? So one of the things that I have been doing at work is trying to increase the workforce, and we've been working with various charities, and one of the charities that we've been working with trying to give people a chance. Well, there's a couple. So actually, there's one which is based in Scotland, and it's about giving kids a chance. Kids haven't had much luck, and with our work, we've been giving them opportunities and full-time employment, and that's worked well. And we've also been working with some refugee charities as well, and employing people through that too. And I had been thinking that there's people who maybe haven't had a chance, or all the chances that I've had in life, and then other people who have had to flee their homes and maybe don't have much of a community, or maybe quite isolated. And I had been trying, as you know, to kind of get something going, like a kind of place. I thought, I do think that Taekwondo can help folk, and just gives folk, if nothing else, give folk something to do. But there's so much more than that. And anyway, I was struggling. I was struggling because I couldn't get a venue. I couldn't get a place, and I thought that the big places and the big councils would help, and I could do these kind of like wee classes and things on an ad hoc sort of basis, maybe, or even more regularly. But anyway, I couldn't get a venue, couldn't get a hall, wasn't really working, and I thought, you know what, I can't really depend on other people to present these halls or do it for me. So the only really way to make it work was to open up my school, and that's what Rosie and I are doing. We're going to open up this school, and it'll be like a normal school, but once it's started, I then have opportunity to have my other notion kind of feeding into it, maybe.
Yep.
So that's why, and that's why now, because I thought if my notion of kind of taekwondo for everybody and like taekwondo helping folk who might be in a kind of sticky situation or just a less fortunate situation than I am, then I need to make the school work first, and then kind of let it grow from that. So
yeah. Brilliant.
So that was fine.
And of course now Rosie's a black belt as well. And
Yeah.
how much did that kind of push you on even more because you had the opportunity to do it, open up with her, because you are opening up as a team, which I know you're really you feel strongly about making sure that it's not Andy Gillan's school on Rosie's there. It's just a big team effort.
It's hard for me, to be fair, because it's not all about me. Everything. It's such a giant head, and things. Everything's always revolving about me. So, and in my daft kind of internal universe. So, but Rosie was really keen. I was surprised. Kind of, I can't remember the conversation really. I was probably sitting in the car going to class, I suppose, and maybe just have mentioned it just to see what she thought. She was like, I would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I thought, well, okay, let's do it. Let's just do it.
That happens with your kids, as you've obviously experienced. It also happens with your students. And I hope you experience this, and maybe this is something to have a wee chat about as well. It's even with your best students, your students who understand it. When I say understand it, I mean understand the art and stuff that we can also chat about. Even your own daughter, there's an assumption sometimes, and maybe I don't know, there seems to be an assumption that I always have this fear that a lot of our teenage students, Rosie included, obviously Rosie's a bit older now, but you're always thinking, these guys are going to have something much more fun and interesting to do than come and do my taekwondo class, or come and help with class, or even go that stage further. And it is a stage further that Rosie's committing to here, to open up a school. Maybe it's an inferiority complex in my part, I don't know, but it definitely keeps me humble that these people continually surprise me positively, that they're always there, that they'll come and help with the children's classes, that they're just so committed. And
there's a great bunch of youngsters in the school at the moment, isn't there?
There is, and I need to give them more credit. Just when you're saying that you were perhaps surprised, I'm constantly surprised, and then I keep having all these conversations that I really should stop this and just accept that these kids are amazing and they are so committed. And you're saying the same way, like, oh, I'll just kind of, maybe you didn't even think that you were mentioning it in such a fashion, and Rosie's jumped on it, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Rosie's work, she kind of, well, she's now kind of, as part of her work, so going to schools and talking about STEM and, engineering and what we do. And a big part of Rosie's work is trying to encourage girls into the industry, so she's going to primary schools, going to secondary schools, so talking to girls and as well as boys. And
Yep.
this is the type of jobs that as engineers, this is what our company does, and training, and this is the type of roles that kind of women in the industry, so women in engineering, do. So it's a bit of a it's probably part of that as well. She's got that interest.
We've probably mentioned this in one of the previous episodes, but with returning guests, what I'm trying to get better at is allowing the episodes to be sort of standalone in case people don't want to go through the previous 6 hours of us yapping on the podcast. They just want to listen to this one. We should mention that Rosie, Andy's daughter, also works beside Andy too. So,
well, in the same company.
In the same company, sorry, yeah, in the same company.
Yeah, different departments, but
and now she's starting a Tae Kwon Do school with you. And brilliant. How much a part do you think Tae Kwon Do has played in? And this is something you have actually mentioned, but I want to talk about it again. Like, it's such a brilliant thing that a dad and his 21-year-old daughter now have this joint interest, joint passion, really, isn't it? This thing that you're both so committed to. That's not, for what I can see, that's not very common. And Tae Kwon Do has given you that opportunity in many ways.
It has. I think, I mean, all 3 of the kids. So I started Tae Kwon Do, as you know, when Tom was just a wee boy, at 5, and then Rosie started, and then Jamie started, and it's given me an opportunity over the past 18 years now to have this thing that we do together.
Yep.
And I feel very lucky to just have had that time with them.
Yep.
And I would encourage any parent, especially any parent in Cambuslang or the local area,
you're learning, Andy. Let's get the plug in there as well.
No, but seriously though, to kind of, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is, but to have that opportunity to just spend time with your kids, consistently over the year, and have that interest. And now, as they're all adults. I mean, Jamie's 18 next month, in a couple of weeks actually now.
Yep.
And to have that thing where we've got that common interest and spent all that time together training and pursuing the same goals, it's brilliant. And I don't think many or it's all that common, I suppose, is what I'm going to say.
I don't think it is. That's why I'm always keen to mention it, because I don't think it's common. Both of the boys have been to our world headquarters in Hawaii, so I think Rosie definitely jumps up the ladder now, being an instructor at the school. The next time we find ourselves with Grandmaster to be there.
I think there's another trip due. I think there's another trip to Hawaii due at some point.
There's always a trip to Hawaii. And again, just as a standalone episode, as we're trying to do here today, and for people who don't know, our association world headquarters is, we're really, really unlucky that it's on the beautiful island of Oahu in Hawaii, in Honolulu. So it's really tough to have to go over there. So
all that way.
All that way. Right, next question I've got for you.
Question.
Obviously, it's a Tae Kwon Do school. And I think this will be a really interesting question for you, and hopefully for the people that are listening and watching. It's obviously a Tae Kwon Do school that you're opening, but what do you want to teach? You're now becoming this instructor, this teacher. What are people going to learn at your school? Because we can say, well, they're going to learn Tae Kwon Do, but I know from watching you come through and being your instructor, I know that you have certain passions about things and things that you think are really important for students to learn and styles to practice in, etc., etc. So what are people going to be learning at your school?
Well, folks are going to be learning. The thing about Tae Kwon Do is that it allows us to, or it gives an opportunity in class to move our bodies in ways that we don't move in everyday life, and it puts our body, our limbs, and everything through ranges of motion that we just don't reach
Yep.
Every day. And I think, as well as the punching and the kicking and the white pajamas and all that stuff, there's some really important human important human movements in there about being able to control our balance and our the way we, even just the way we stand, and being aware of how we stand. Even at the very start of it, ready stance, the very first stance that we learn, was ready stance, mind, body at one. And just thinking about, well, how am I standing? What's my weight distribution? And we take that point, that fundamental kind of awareness of where our bodies are in space and time, and then we start moving in straight lines forwards and backwards. And then we move to the side, and how the weight distribution moves, and then we move to angles, and then it all just starts moving. And I think we don't get opportunities, or as many opportunities, or we don't take as many opportunities as we might.
Sure.
I think we evolved for ease. I think we evolved to sit and eat fatty foods. I've just finished reading a book there by Daniel Lieberman, and he was talking about what we. The book's called Exercised, by the way. Very interesting book if you're interested in that sort of thing.
What's it called again? Sorry.
Exercised.
Exercised, right? Okay.
Exercised it is. Anyway, he was saying that like he's done a bit of study in kind of sort of hunter-gatherer peoples and things, and our ancient ancestors as well, and surprisingly, they don't appear to have done any less sitting about than we do. Who knew?
Wow.
But sorry, they did a lot of sitting about. They do a lot of sitting about. But the difference is that we don't have to expend. We don't have to do much to get our food.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the food that we get is high calorie. So to go out for a run, if you're a hunter-gatherer, just for the sake of going out for a run to do some exercise, is like, we don't even comprehend it. There was one quite funny story where his interpreter was trying to, so Daniel Lieberman's a kind of runner who does marathons and things like that, and he was speaking to, I think it was like a South American tribesman through an interpreter, and so these folks are famous for doing a bit of running, and he was asking this old man, what kind of training do you do? What how do you keep it up? And there was no word for it. It just didn't compute. So anyway, so the upshot of it is that there's no real need for us to feel guilty about being who we are. We evolved, our ancestors evolved to take the sweet, high calorie, fatty food take the opportunity, stuff ourselves with it, and then sit down and relax and don't expend any extra energy because that's wasteful. And that's how we survived, or how our ancestors survived, and how hunter-gatherers survive now.
So if you're stiff and you're overweight and you're unhealthy, don't feel guilty. It's your great granddad's fault.
Even before that, yeah, don't feel guilty about it. Yeah, absolutely. It's what we evolved to do. I think that's quite. It's quite. It kind of releases us, I think, from all that guilt. We don't have to feel guilty about it.
I think. I think we're in a. I think we're in a spot at the moment where people are. I've tried to mention this more and include it in even advertisements for my own school and lots of discussions with our own students about having a more. So I started martial arts in the 80s, and now in 2023, there's a much more holistic approach to what this martial arts training, what this Taekwondo can give people. And I don't just think it's with adults now, I think it's with children through perhaps their mum and dads looking for this now. And I think you and Rosie are the perfect people at the perfect time, because I don't think just as many people are coming to the martial arts wanting to be champions, and that's all they want, and to spar or fight, and that's all they want. People are getting more educated all the time, as we all are, just with different avenues of information, and they're looking for something pretty cool, which martial arts is, but what can also deal with them as people in a holistic fashion and can help them just move better and help them breathe better, and all of that comes through the punching and the kicking are definitely just a means to an end. All this cool stuff that we do, jumping and hitting pads and breaking boards and all of this, but I definitely think you're perfectly suited through your experience in your own martial arts, but also through the study that you've done and the interest that you've taken. You're definitely perfect, I believe, at this moment for offering that to people.
Thank you.
I mean,
so.
is that still, is that a fair reflection on what you want to do with your new students?
Look, I'm not that fussed about competitions. I've never have been. I've done a few. I'm not that interested.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
You know.
Me neither.
But and the I think it should be fun as well. You know, see all the kind of days of getting shouted at and there's discipline, but the fun folk want a bit of fun in their life as well. And yeah. So absolutely, the punching and the kicking is the means, it's the method, it's the way, isn't it?
Yep.
It's the way. But I think that it's about using that way to become healthier, but also in here, well, healthier in here as well.
Yep.
This mind and body is one thing. I think that's important. I think through movement and through activity and through the taekwondo and through the patterns and through the sparring and through the all the different aspects of our training that we do, through the discipline of it, then that has the effect on our minds.
Yep. You also have a brilliant opportunity to build another community, and I can fully see this happening. I can fully see you replicating what you're part of at my school. That it's honour's a really strong word, but it really is it's an honour to you, to me anyway, and I'm sure it will be to you, that people, they trust themselves with you. Maybe more importantly, they'll trust their children into your care. and then we having these people in your school, a community does definitely start to build around that. And I say it definitely keeps me humble, and I know it'll do the same for you, because I say this all the time. I still show up, and I hope that I never ever change with this. I still show up, go to the front of class to lead class, and look and think, why are all these people here? Like, and just feel blessed about it. But that'll be different for you now, because you'll be the guy at the front. It'll be your community. It'll be you that's building it. And
You're
I'm
looking at an empty hall.
not trying to put any pressure on you here. There is pressure, but it's a good pressure. It's a welcomed pressure that you definitely get satisfaction from.
I'm fully expecting for the first wee while, like me and Rosie practicing our patterns together on an empty hall. That's okay as well.
Indeed, we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah, just do what we need to do. I think do it anyway. I think I'm a little bit apprehensive about like the start and sort of where, sort of who'll turn up and who'll stay or go or whatever. It has to start somewhere, and just do it anyway. I think is the
Indeed. Right, next sort of main question. What main experiences, like you have, what is this? My wee boy Amir has this thing he keeps talking about now, and it's escaped me, but he always talks about these particular memories through life that never leave you. They stand out, these big moments in your life. And again, for him that doesn't know, my wee boy's he's only 11. So he's already talking about these big life memories or something. I'm not entirely sure. I'll need to check that actually, because it always makes sense when he's talking about it. But what main experiences, and you'll have these because they'll be so obvious to you, do you remember through the last 18 years that you can take into helping your students, your new students who are all, the excitement is currently buzzing around the local town for your school opening up. So what main
excitement, stroke apathy.
Not at all.
What do you know? The
What lessons? Maybe that's a better way of putting it. What
lessons?
major lessons do you know that you've learned that you can then look forward to sharing on, I guess?
I think the problem with me is I don't remember anything, which is so why I need my books and my notebooks. I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
There's so lessons. What's the big things? The big things is so here's one. Is that the aims to achieve and the aims to achieve and trying to, well, aiming to achieve the aims to achieve and the Tae Kwon Do spreading out into the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And the difference that makes, and kind of having that benchmark almost to compare things when we have difficult decisions to make, or just any decisions to make.
Yeah.
What's the, so doing the right thing. What's the right thing to do? For example, I suppose that's a big question in itself. Doing the right thing always. Is integrity one of the aims to achieve?
Yeah.
What is the right thing to do? And then doing it, I suppose, and trying to kind of make that the path through life. And I think that's a great thing about Tae Kwon Do. It's trying to, and it's not easy, is it? But trying to get the aims to achieve into what we do in everything that we do.
I think the biggest, or one of the biggest things that you will install in your students is what you have for yourself. And maybe this was a natural thing, and maybe, and you can talk on this perhaps, maybe it was Taekwondo that taught you this or made you fully understand that it works. I have students all the time who will say, I had a student on Thursday night say to me that in a year's time, finish that coffee before you spit it out. When I say this, said to me, in a year's time, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing just now, and I'm going to be able to do what Mr. Gillan does. So a student said that to me on Thursday at class, and that's a conversation that I have often with a whole different age range of people, that they think positively, how can Mr. Gillan do this? Why is he so good at this, or why is he so good at that? And I give them the same answer all the time. And the same answer all the time is really simple. It's because he does it. So it's I'll use mindfulness practice as a quick example. And you use the aims to achieve extremely well, but you use them. I always feel much better when I make a concerted effort to actively do my mindfulness practice. And then I think to myself, when I stop doing it, my head's went away to mince again. Well, Kareem, it's not much of a coincidence that it's went away to mince again, because you've stopped doing the practice. Whereas you will take things and you will commit to them. And I'm absolutely certain that you'll pass this to both your junior and adult students when the school opens. It's not even a skill, it's a mindset. And again, I'm putting words in your mouth. I will give you the opportunity to clarify this, but you actually just do it. So if you commit to something, you do it, and you're very consistent, and etc. etc. And the aims to achieve, and you spoke about previously, putting the aims to achieve into your working life and all different areas of your life, but not just saying that you'll do it. Mindfulness practice is a great idea. Brilliant. You're going to sit for 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to practice your breathing and relax the mind and lower the heart rate and give yourself some stress relief. Even talking about it right now is amazing.
Yep.
But it means jack if you don't actually do it. So people will say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then they don't. You actually do. And I really think that's something that you will. I would be really, really surprised if your students don't pick that up as one of the major things that they get from you.
I wish I could be better at it. That would be a good thing, about to be more consistent about being consistent. That's a good goal to have for me.
Does that not go back to what you were talking about with the book that you've just read, in that it's people are looking at you being, oh, he's so consistent, and you're saying, well, not really, but it's just about always being extra hard on ourselves, isn't it? But actually what you're achieving is actually really, really good.
Well, I've kept on going, I suppose, over the 18 years. I've kept on going, turning up. I think that's part of the secret, isn't it?
No. Sorry to interrupt you. That is the secret. 100%. That is the secret. That you just keep showing up. It definitely is.
Aye. Although in saying that, I think sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay not to show up. Especially if you've got a cold and you don't want to give it to everybody.
That's because Andy hasn't been in class this week because he's had a cold.
I've been skiving. Feel sorry for myself in my hoodie.
Or being smart and not spreading germs, Andy.
What's that?
Or being smart and not spreading germs.
Yeah. Well, we've got this black belt test coming up, haven't we?
Indeed.
And the guys have got enough on their plates without having to put up with, some winter colds and stuff. So plus you don't really feel like it. Anyway, but being consistent, apart from when you've got a cold, when you're not feeling it, so being consistent, just doing it. and doing, even when you don't want to, just do a wee something, just a wee something, and then, well, you talk about that, just pennies in the jar, isn't it? Just to build it up, just build it up bit by bit.
It's funny you should just mention that. Just when you said there, you say that, as in I say that. Again, another conversation I was having this week was about, and this is maybe this is a bit of live advice for you as you go to open up this school. I've said that, and I know that I say it often, but you've remembered that. You've remembered your instructor saying that. And when I've said it, I haven't registered that you've remembered me saying that. I haven't registered the importance that it's had to you, that
That's interesting, isn't it?
that you can reference that. So the conversation I was having was about really just the positive influence that, and again, anybody who does come and train with me or listens to the podcasts or whatever, I am very aware of my shortfalls and I need to get better. The teenagers especially, and that's what I was talking about this week. You don't understand how much of a positive influence, or just an influence in any manner, that you are on those kids. And when you say something, and it could be this is maybe a bit of advice to all instructors out there.
Aye.
Don't forget that when you say something, they're listening. And I'll give you a quick example. The example was this week that I had made partnerships for our upcoming black belt test. So the partnerships that were the students will have to go up and do partner drills, hitting the pads, different types of sparring, etc. And a class maybe a month ago or so, I had just in my head, and I don't even remember it, and that's the point, in my head just suggested that two particular students would be together at the test. Flippant, didn't think anything of it, etc., etc. And then had forgotten that I had even said that. But these students had got themselves sort of focused in and teed up for being partners. And that's maybe a silly example, or a less important example. But then when going to class the other week and with my list of partners that I had decided to put together, it was different to what I'd originally said. And then it just causes instant confusion. And you just should never ever underestimate how important it is to remember that people are listening and they're taking on board what you're saying. You might go and you might say, yeah, I think this is the best stretch. And it's just because you've read a book on a particular style of stretching. Before you know it, you've got one of your students doing that stretch for the next month because you've said it. Again, these aren't the best examples.
You'll understand.
People hopefully listening and you will understand where I'm going with that. So good luck with that. It's a big challenge.
You're just kind of I need to write that down in my book now, because that needs to be that needs to be the next note in my book, that beware, people are listening.
Yep, indeed.
And you know, don't take that lightly.
No, people are trusting you.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to use this word again, this honour word. It's an absolute honour that people trust you so much. And listen, people aren't stupid. They don't. Trust and respect are earned. People aren't just walking in and trusting and respecting. You put the time in, and again, you've got to make sure you reflect on that. They're not just trusting you because, oh, there's some random guy I'm going to go and trust. The work's been done in the background and years of building up that student-instructor relationship. But they're listening. They're definitely listening. So when we sign off today, you can go and put that in your book. What? And again, I'm not even asking to be included here. I'd actually prefer if you didn't. But you have lots of experience traveling you've trained with grandmasters, masters, other instructors. What's things have you picked up over the years that you know that you're going to, and it doesn't have to be particular drills or styles, but there'll be things that stick in your head that you want to then
But there's things.
pass
Sorry, I'm
on to
talking
your
over the
new
top of you
student.
there.
No, not at all, not at all. I
But-
need to shut up. I'm forgetting it's you that's the guest.
No, there's things like breathing, and relaxing, um, and moving and awareness of our bodies and what we're trying to get them to do. I think rather than the specifics of this particular technique or that particular technique, or this is how you execute this, and that will all be part of what we learn and what we should do in class. But that sort of thing, yeah, breathing and moving, and then doing things properly, kind of like exercises. If we do an exercise, like what's the point in doing 100 ropey press ups?
Yeah,
There's none. What's the point in doing a squat where we're just bending over?
yeah,
So trying to do things properly, and that's not to say that there's not a place for any sort of movement. So let's think of a squat. Just talk about squat. There's different types of squats, isn't there? There's like a natural squat where we sit down, or the type of squat that one of our ancient ancestors might do when they were, squatting by a fire and cooking a bit of something.
yeah,
Or there's a type of squat that an Andric sort of lifter would do when they're doing an overhead squat with, 3 million kilos, like on a bar that's bending right over, and it's
yeah,
all different. The body's evolved these different ways of movement and evolved to accommodate all sorts of things, and all sorts of different angles and stuff.
Yep.
But there's ways of doing stuff that, or doing exercises or doing movements that are easy on our bodies, or easier on our bodies, but aren't necessarily for the best outcomes.
Mhm.
It depends what we want. It depends what we want to achieve by what we do, by the exercise that we're doing.
Yeah,
If the point of the exercise is just, say, if the point of the squat is just to lift something as heavy as you possibly can, never mind the consequences, and do that once, that's a different thing than if the point of doing the squat is to promote being able to do that particular movement pain-free for many, many years to come.
indeed.
So
Indeed.
that's two different ends of a scale, isn't there?
Yep.
So, and there's everything in between. There's all sorts of stuff in between, isn't there? So I think that promoting good technique in all that we do, whether it's executing a kick, or whether it's executing a punch, or whether it's doing a squat or a press up, some form of twisting movement or a crawl, and doing it the best that we can for the outcome that we want.
Yeah.
The outcomes that I generally want are a long, healthy, pain-free life.
Indeed.
That's what I want. That's what I want to achieve. And that's probably the source of a lot of my reading at the moment, and has been for a while, and the source of a lot of the kind of training that I've done out with Taekwondo, and the way that I train in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
I'm at an age now where I can't afford a really bad injury.
I think you've got a big advantage, and you can help me try and explain this if you think I'm going off tangent here, but I wish I could So what I'm going to do is just offend every student I have at the moment in one sentence. I wish I could go back to having all white belts now with the experience and knowledge that I now have. Because I started teaching extremely young. And people like yourself have came through with me through all the bad years. And I say bad years, that's not what I mean, but the less experienced years where no instructor was ever even, I would suggest no instructor, if you start as young as I did, well, no instructor should actually start as young as I did. That's the other thing I'll say. But any young instructor is going to be better 20 years, 30 years down the line. Or they've been doing something wrong. Of course.
Otherwise, what's the point in the 20 years?
Indeed. So I wish that all the knowledge you've picked up over the last 18 years, and you must notice we do things much differently, and I would hope much better now. But all of these, so what I have to do sometimes is go back on myself quite a lot and fix things and maybe come to something and think, well, actually, there's new science on this that I've been telling you one way, and now actually I'm going to go back and have to change 100 students because we've discovered there's something better. You have that knowledge. So I'm not saying things won't be better again in 20 years' time, and hopefully we'll still be teaching in 20 years' time. But it's a, do you understand what I'm trying to say there? You have that knowledge.
It's a different starting point, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what I'm trying to say. Yep.
Different maturity as well. That life just brings, hopefully, as well. You know. Just being older and more cautious.
Maybe you went and learned all this movement and sort of holistic style of training to just benefit your whole body because my classes were just so bad.
No.
You had to keep. No. I'm going to keep doing taekwondo with this guy, but I better start looking after myself as well.
No, that's certainly not the case. That's certainly not the case. But sorry about that. That's the big dog making a racket moving down there. But I think the what sent me down that road was being in my mid-30s. That's when I started. Well, my late 30s, 37, and waking up every morning with a sore back, creaky knees, sore neck maybe, and just being, a bit overweight, a bit florid about the face, bit drinking too much and things. Hadn't long stopped smoking. Smoked until I was 30, so wasn't in great condition, stressed out at work. And then thinking, okay, I'm going to do something, learn something. I'm going to do this taekwondo. Oh, wait a minute, not very good at this. I can't really do this stuff. I used to be able to lift my leg a bit higher when I was in my 20s. What's happened? Yeah. Picking up injuries here, there, and everywhere, and thinking there's got to be something. I'm not doing this right, and then you start looking into different things. I've just realised I've got a wee notification there, so that I've only got 5% left in my battery. So could we pause this while I get a charger?
That's fine. I'm only planning to keep you another couple of minutes anyway. So
right, okay.
But maybe plug in anyway, just in case, because it's better that than we lose you. So
apologies, folks.
That's fine. Will we cut this bit out of the podcast, or will we just sit and look at Andy's lovely new kitchen? Going by my previous, and depending on how long Andy takes to come back, we might just look at the kitchen. Let's see. If Andy's house is anything like my house, he won't be able to find that charger. So we might have... Oh, here he comes. Have you managed to find that charger, Andy?
Yes, I knew exactly where it was.
Wow. Okay. I was just
You know-
saying to the people that are listening and watching that I may edit this out or I may not, depending, because if your house is anything like my house, there was no way you were finding that charger quickly. But you did, and you're back, so just keep that in. What we
Well,
did,
just to fill
we had
this
a
in
wee,
as well,
we had a
in the
wee,
places.
we had a wee look at your
chaos.
kitchen there, your lovely kitchen. So that maybe stay in the podcast. I was listening to another podcast yesterday, and it was with, I believe he's a doctor. He must be a doctor. He is a doctor who's been working with Dana White, who's the president of the
Oh,
UFC,
yeah. Mhm.
and he has really turned his life around regarding his health and his fitness by following these different protocols.
He's got
But
all these mad machines now, hasn't he?
he's he had majorly high blood pressure. He had sleep apnea. I believe there's 5 main indicators about that this. Do you know? I'll get you his name right now, so that we're actually not doing him or even just a podcast at this service. So his name is. Let's see if I can find it. Gary Brecker. So that's Gary Brecker, whose podcast, The Ultimate Human. So he's been working with Dana White and has really kind of turned him around, actually. But this is going back to what you said, and it's the first thing I thought of when you started saying about changing your life and not being sore and being able to get out of bed and all the rest of it. And what they were talking about on the podcast was we forget what normal is. You want to get, okay, I'm going to get fit so that I'm not sore getting out of bed. Right?
Mhm.
No, I'm sorry. You shouldn't be sore getting out of bed. It's the same way we've got this idea now that if you start eating healthily, you're on a diet. That's where we are now, really, or where a lot of people are. It's like, well, you walk into your canteen at work and someone's eating a nice bit of chicken breast with some lovely salad, and you, oh, you on a diet? No, I'm just eating good food, and it's like it's just so we accept it. We just accept getting to you as a 40-year-old. In fact, as any age, as any age, within reason, okay, it shouldn't be painful to swing your legs out of bed,
Absolutely.
push yourself up.
That's why the question that I asked myself was, is this my future? Is this what the future's like? Is this what I'm going to be like now? Is this me? Is this inevitable, this steady, slow decline into decrepitude? And I didn't want that. I don't want that. I absolutely don't want that. And I absolutely believe that it's not inevitable. It's not inevitable. I'm fitter now at 55 than I was at 37. That's
Easily,
absolutely.
yep,
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
So as I say, I said I wasn't going to keep it much longer, but what I want to do is get actually back to the school opening and
Mhm.
the details about the school, which I was just actually going on to my phone there. Whoops, that's a video from the class this morning. Let's get the details. So the classes, so Andy Gillan and Rosie Gillan are going to be opening up an amazing new AIMA school in Cambuslang on Monday, the 23rd of
23rd of October.
October. So,
Mhm.
what are the class times?
It's 6:30 till 7:30 on Monday evenings and 11:30 till 12:30 on a Saturday morning.
Brilliant.
So anyone, any kids, any people who, like me as a youngster, were very poor at football and didn't quite fit in.
Yep.
All the misfits are all welcome. So if you're not playing football for your school team or any other team on a Saturday morning, come along and learn some Taekwondo.
Yep. So, it's the school meets at Harvester Avenue in
Yes.
Cambuslang, and the postcode is G72 6AA. So that's Harvester Avenue, Cambuslang, G72 6AA. Mondays evening 6:30 to 7:30, Saturday 11:30 to 12:30, and the contact number, which we'll give you as well, is 078 999 88386.
That's it.
And
Great.
that's Chose Taekwondo Cambuslang opening on Monday.
So
What's
just
the
beside, sorry,
No, go ahead.
It's just beside Newton Farms Primary School. So it's at the Cambuslang, sorry, the Newton Farm Community Wing, which is a little hall just beside the primary school, Newton Farm Primary School in Cambuslang.
Yep. So let's finish on this. What are the main sort of thoughts and emotions sort of flying about at the minute? Like excitement, but at the same time, trepidation, or do you know what you, for both you and Rosie, what are you thinking?
I'm not sure what Rosie's thinking at the moment. She seems quite calm and relaxed about it all. Whether that's what she's like inside, I don't know. I'm thinking that I'm a little bit apprehensive about what it's going to be like. I think the first day will be good because I'm very, very grateful that a lot of the students from my fellow students from your school will be coming along, so that'll be brilliant.
Yep.
So after that, there's a lot of work to do, and that's good. That's good, and everything's got to start from somewhere. So I'm really looking forward to starting from nothing and growing the seeds and seeing what happens. So putting the time in and seeing who comes along and learning some taekwondo with them and yeah, it is quite daunting and exciting as well.
It should be daunting, but because you're doing something of substance and something of meaning, it should be daunting because I know for a fact how much you will personally want to get this right and do it right for the people that are coming along.
Well, it's important, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's important. I know we spoke about this over many times as well as a student. How we, as a black belt student within a school, and how we conduct ourselves represents the school and the association and the instructor, and all the way through to Grandmaster Cho. And people will look at the black belt in the school and say, and make a judgment about not just that person as an individual, but the school and the way the school is run and what people are like in the school and what Grandmaster Cho's like ultimately.
Yep.
And that's as an individual within a school. And then you take that out and starting another school, then that's just a different level of the same sort of thing, isn't it? People are going to judge Aima and my instructor, St. Master Gassam, and
you better get this right, Andy. So you better get this right.
I know. I know, but that's the level of responsibility, isn't it? And it's an important thing. It's an important thing, as you say, that people are going to be listening to what to what we say. So we have to be telling them important things and good things and correct things in a way that's fun, in a way that they'll want to come back. So Mondays, Saturdays are going to be busy.
Let's go.
The good thing is that the location we've chosen is very close to the head office of my work. So for anyone that knows me, I'm always at the cruise tail driving mad distances from various sites around Scotland to get to class on time, and sometimes it happens that I'm on time, and sometimes that it doesn't. I'm chosen that particular location with that in mind, so I'm going to be working from head office on certain days.
Let's end with this. All I would say is that it's extremely exciting. I think there's moments as a head instructor of a school where you feel pride for your students. Examples such as them passing black belt gradings or any grading really, especially the black belt test and reaching a certain landmark. I genuinely can't think of a better student than yourself to have reached this landmark where they're ready to go and open their own school. I think you and Rosie will do an exceptional job. I think you'll take the responsibility of sort of spreading Taekwondo or our style of Taekwondo to the people of Cambuslang. I think you'll take that extremely seriously. And I think both of you will just do a wonderful job. So
thank you. That's very kind of you to say so.
Be positive. Build it and they will come.
That's the thing. Build it and they will come. I've got one question for you.
Yes.
Pick a number. We did this last time.
Pick
a number between 113 and 1 or 2 and 1.
Between numbers 2 and 1?
Yes, either between 1 and 113 or set 2 between 2 and 1.
Okay.
It'll all become clear.
Okay, 111.
111. This is the book because I can't remember anything. I write things down. Oh, okay. 24th of September, 2023. Taekwondo tips, 111. Elbow strike is a pinky technique. Therefore, the chamber for this is on the inside, back of the wrist to back of wrist. The same as knife hand strike or hammer fist. And there's the see that?
Yeah.
It goes with that.
Again, if you're just listening to the episode, Andy's artwork is legendary within our school. Because these little drawings accompany the many notes that he takes. Let's pick a different one as well. Let's do another one. Can we do another one?
Yep.
55.
55. 50. Oh, here's 55 here.
Mr. Bogassam said, never open a school.
55. Can you see that? There's the sketch. 55.
Yep, look up.
Oh, it's look up. Yep. So
Indeed.
5th of May, 2023, Taekwondo tips. Oh, sorry, that was 56. 55 is a little one just before it. I beg your pardon. So that's the 29th of April this year. Taekwondo tips 55. Use whatever is to hand or nothing. Everything can be upscaled, downscaled, or modified. Can't really remember what that was about.
You need to do better notes. Perhaps find out what day that was, because it might be a Saturday or a mayhem class or something.
Yeah, I think that refers to exercise. Use whatever's to hand or nothing. Everything can be upscaled or downscaled. So different types of exercise, different types. It probably was a mayhem one.
Yeah, perhaps.
Think about it. You know, you can use different leverage, use different. Say we're doing a plank. Say doing a plank. So plank's reasonably easy. You can just do the plank, lying on the floor straight back. Or you could lift one foot off the ground and make a little bit less stable. Lift one foot and one hand off the ground and make it even less stable. And you can upscale it again, doing it with one hand on a Swiss ball, and then everything's Do you know, so everything can be upscaled or downscaled depending on who we are. And it comes back to all bodies and all ages being able to come to Taekwondo and to learn. It doesn't matter whether you've got a bit of pain and a bit of kind of unfit, haven't moved for a long time, haven't done any exercise for a long time. As long as we have the willingness to learn and engage and take part, that's a big thing, isn't it?
It's,
Having
it's
the willingness to come along and engage in it rather than coming along and being a bit of a wallflower.
yeah,
All different ages, all different sizes. Look, some of the kind of the little lassies in the school that can kick, whoa, just lift her leg up the same way as I can lift my arm up, you know, and then the rest of us are puffing and sweating like warthogs trying to get past their knee level, you know. All bodies welcome, all people welcome, all ages welcome.
yep.
I think that's the thing. Everything. Use whatever is to hand. Nothing or nothing. Everything can be upscaled or downscaled or modified.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, Andy. So I shall see you in classes tomorrow, and then I will obviously
Absolutely.
be at the opening of your school on Monday. So people that are listening, this is being recorded on Saturday afternoon. I'll get it edited up and released tonight on the Saturday, so that hopefully it'll get out there for you open up on Monday. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant.
Good to talk to you.
Perfect. I shall see you tomorrow.
Bye bye.
Cheers, Andy. All the best. Thank you. Bye.